Hey everyone, Eddie Campos here with Remax Preferred Associates, and this is Coffee with Eddie, and I have an extra special guest today, Thomas Winston of the Lucas County Port Authority. Thomas, thanks so much for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation, Eddie.
So, Thomas, for those who don't really know what the Port Authority does, can you give us a brief synopsis of what the Port Authority does and where you're involved at in the community?
Well, thank you for the opportunity again, Eddie. And we absolutely love telling the story about the Port Authority. The Port Authority established in 1955. So we've been around for over 65 years as a Port Authority, really fostering economic development. Our current mission is really to develop expertise and assets that drive and grow the region's transportation and logistics infrastructure, so that it can provide economic prosperity for all. And really, we do that through what we call economic development. And economic development carries many different aspects to it. When we first were established, we were clearly a maritime port authority dealing with maritime activities at the Port of Toledo. And that was the port through the 1950s and 60s, and then we began to evolve to a broader aspect of the community. In the early 1970s, we began to operate and manage both airports on behalf of the city of Toledo, being Toledo Express Airport in the Swanton area, as well as Toledo Executive Airport, formerly Metcalf Airport. And we began to manage those facilities in the 70s. In the 80s, we began to take on a broader economic development direction, buying brownfield locations, really redeveloping sites to provide a more vibrant economic development opportunity for the communities. And we also, in the late 1980s, because of the broad powers that the Ohio Revised Code provides the Port Authority as a quasi-government entity, we began to take on even greater economic development role through our various financing programs. We created a bond fund that I'll talk to a little later. We began to administer small business loans and really begin to help businesses both on the private side and public side through providing access to capital for opportunities for businesses to develop as well as grow. So we have evolved. We continue to do the maritime activity, and we have the largest inland port on the Great Lakes. We continue to manage facilities, whether it's the airport activities, Martin Luther King Center, where we have Greyhound and Amtrak locations. We also manage the One Government Center, where the local, county, and statewide offices and agencies are located. We run parking garages. We own and run parking garages downtown Toledo. There's just a number of things that we do because of mainly driven by the powers that we have, mainly driven by filling the gap that the community needs, and being able to provide that expertise, that human capital expertise, that financing expertise to develop these assets to drive economic development for the region.
So let's touch on the Port Authority, since that's where things kind of started for Lucas County Port Authority. You guys got some new grants for the new crane at Dock Facility 1, is that correct?
That is correct, Eddie. Last year, even through COVID, we were very active and aggressive in seeking funding for our port facilities, and specifically as it relates to the Port of Toledo. We've developed a $150 million capital improvement program. We've acquired a lot, we've done a lot, and my focus since taking over in September of 2019 is to ensure that we invest in our facilities. And we received a critical mass of support to that end last year by receiving over $25 million in grant support. We received $16 million from the U.S. Maritime Administration Port Infrastructure Grant Program. And we also received $4 million from the Ohio Department of Transportation through their Maritime Assistance Program. That $20 million collectively supported two big initiatives at the Port of Toledo. One, it will help us do the rehabilitation of a dock wall at the Port of Toledo. And the dock wall is very crucial. It's the critical piece of infrastructure that allows vessels to operate both coming to shore and offshore. It spans over 4,100 square feet. And it's a critical mass. So we have not had a critical repair of the dock wall since the inception of the port back in the 50s. So the funding is going to be critical to ensure that as the Port of Toledo grows, we have the capabilities and the infrastructure to grow with it. That funding will also support the building of a transloading facility. We see an opportunity to increase the activity that's coming through the Port of Toledo, particularly through liquid and petroleum opportunities. So we're going to be able to use the transloading facility to be able to help with the transfer of commodities through rail, through truck, and the other transportation modes that are there. And finally, we received $5.5 million from the Ohio Department of Transportation Maritime Assistance Program as well. This will help, this supports the purchase of a large harbor crane that will be used at the Port of Toledo. It's a Liebherr 550, one of the largest mobile cranes that you would find, world class, that was actually just shipped from overseas last week and landed at the Port of Toledo. It will take about 6 weeks for the construction of the mobile harbor crane. And it will provide an additional resource for our operators, Midwest Terminals, who's been a great partner with the Port of the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority, and to be able to manage cargo through the facilities there. So we're excited about the opportunity to receive these funds and leverage those funds with funds that we bring to the table to be able to ensure the continued development of the Port of Toledo.
In addition to that, we had a name change out at the Toledo Express Airport from a local hero.
That is correct, Eddie. It was officially renamed. The renaming actually officially took place last year. This past week, we did an official rededication and renaming ceremony for the legendary Eugene Krantz. For all of the work that he's done. He's a local hero. We had him here talking about his upbringing on the west side of Toledo, his going through Central Catholic High School, and then moving up the ranks to joining NASA in 1960 and being an integral part of Apollo 11 and Apollo 13. We're just ecstatic that we have now Eugene F. Krantz, Toledo Express Airport, and we will continue to, with that name change, continue to do many things at our disposal to really ensure that the airport is living up to his name, making it very diversified in the things that are happening at the Toledo Express Airport under Eugene F. Krantz's name, and be able to take it to greater heights. And we feel very confident with some of the actions that have just taken place, as well as some of the initiatives that we're working on, that we feel confident that will come to fruition.